so it is. Welcome back. Now I'd like to introduce Marcia Rogat, wherever she might be. There you are over here. Okay, she will come and introduce Stephen. So thank you for being here again.
Thank you, Susan, and thank you folks for making it tonight. It wasn't raining quite so hard. I hope none of you came last week. It's my pleasure to introduce Stephen tonight. This is the first opportunity I've had to do this, and maybe it's because he is afraid I'm going to tell you something he doesn't want you to know, but probably not, because we're all connected anyway, and there really are no secrets. So I met Steve about 37 years ago when we were both living in Colorado, and I was driving along, and here's this marquee on a Holiday Inn that says, psychic fair today. I had never been to a psychic fair, but it was just like that Carrie Underwood song, you know, Jesus Takes the Wheel. All of a sudden my car turned into that parking lot, and I found myself walking through the door and experiencing a psychic reading for the first time in my life. And of course I got a reading from Steve. And I can honestly say there's never been a dull moment since. We were married within a year and a half. We had a newborn son within a year and a half. And our life was just full of lots of growth and change. My parents, however, came from wholesome Midwestern farm stock. And they just were a little confused. Like, who is this new son-in-law? I mean, he comes from Long Island, where they had never been. He's Jewish, and to their knowledge, they had never met anyone who was Jewish. And when my dad asked him, well, what kind of work do you do? He said, well, I'm a self-employed psychic. What's that? You know, they were flabbergasted. But that doesn't slow Steve down. I mean, he was very busy. He jumped into being a husband, a father, a friend, a healer. And he was offering readings, trance-channelings, classes on intuitive development, and he went on to become a student of both traditional and alternative practices. He got his massage license, allowing him to do more body work and hands-on healing, and then, what the heck, he went back to school and got his master's in psychology and became a licensed professional counselor, and also incorporated with that hypnosis, thought field therapy, EMDR, so he could have a foot kind of in both worlds there with body and mind, always making an effort to bring it together and learn new things to be able to reach the maximum number of people. As a student of multiple indigenous healing modalities, Steve studied Native American, Hawaiian, Celtic shamanism, along with techniques from Mexican, Peruvian, and Ecuadorian practices. And how he reaches out to others now has really been a varied and unique path. He's been a popular on-air radio guest known as the rock and roll psychic, or the psychic with an attitude. He's able to see energy connections within and around the body. He's a gifted medical intuitive and body worker, helping clients clear up the mental and emotional causes of dis-ease. Many people call Stephen a shaman. He would say he's a shamanic practitioner, one who enters a heightened trance state and acts as an intermediary between the physical and the spirit worlds for purposes of healing. He's led many sweat lodges, both in Colorado and North Carolina, and has hosted and participated in firewalks. If you've never done that, it's an experience. On a monthly basis, Steve channels messages from guidance for group attendees. His ability also encompasses seeing and speaking with earthbound spirits and helping them move to a higher place. He is an author, and his books have been mentioned. He also wrote a column, The Body Mind Health Corner, that can be accessed through national publications. And of course, he's working on a third book now. In addition to his work directly with clients, Steve will tell you he loves to teach. He's been a popular professor at several universities. He regularly offers classes and workshops, and also teaches meditation. The list goes on, but he's getting anxious and doesn't want me to say too much more. But I do want to say he's an animal communicator, an expert at working with horses who have behavior or training issues. He can help with dream interpretations, ghost clearings. He's blessed property to facilitate real estate exchanges, and continues to grow. And also, not everything is about work. He's enjoyed lots of family camping trips, kayaking, fishing, travels from Italy to South America, plenty of beach parties in North Carolina, Costa Rica, and Mexico. So it's my pleasure to introduce Steve to you and to let you know, ultimately, my parents did embrace him. Even though they couldn't quite grasp what he did for work, they couldn't resist this guy who has a wacky sense of humor, a quick wit, and an open heart. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to Steve.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I've got my little water bottle here. People are going to get handouts in just a minute. And when you look at the handouts, basically, if you've got everything wrong with you, then you can go through the whole handout. Okay, so I'm assuming that everybody doesn't have everything wrong with you, so just you'll be able to ignore most of those pages, okay, until it's time to pay attention. So, the thought body mapping, I got into it basically to heal myself. Weak kidney, accident-prone, toxic headaches, pinched sciatica nerve. After I started with doctors because that's a good place to start, I guess, Then went to chiropractors, nutritionists, yoga teachers, acupressurists, and finally ended up with a spiritual healer, psychic healer, helping me to work with the thoughts and the specific stressors that had to do with certain parts of my body. So it sounded simple, between a past life regression here and a rebirthing there and hands-on healing. I healed. After about 3 years of dealing with it, it took about 3 months. So what we're going to do tonight this is an introduction to thought body mapping. So I don't want to say we're not going to cover this, and this. There'll be plenty of times that during the lecture where I probably will say, oh, we're not going to cover that. No, we're not going to cover that. So I won't say that now. However, just as a start and as an introduction, and then we'll get into what I consider the theory behind it and some of the mapping. But I want to dive right in there and make it tangible because that's what I do. So I want people to, especially people who have neck issues, to pay attention to this. The rest of you can please pay attention. But those people that have neck issues, definitely pay attention. Those people who have neck issues in the back, definitely pay attention. Okay? So there's, you hear, people opening up their third eye, they're becoming psychic and whatever else, and we can see into the ethers and auras and whatever else. But really, on an energetic level, we release old ways of looking at things through our third eye, and we adapt new perceptions and new ways of looking at things right in the back of the neck. Right in the back of the neck. I used to be a massage therapist, so I can say right below the occipital protuberance. Okay, it was one of the words that, it's a catchy one. I like that. It's my word of the week. It's the hole below the bump. There. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you 2 fingers from each hand. See, already you're needing to put those handouts down, right? 2 fingers, and you're going to put them right in that hole. Right in that hole. And in a moment, I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath. The heck with a moment. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and hold that breath. And you ask, who's in my space? Whose judgments am I accepting? Who's in my space? Whose judgments am I accepting? And hold on to that breath. And when you get a picture or a thought of who that might be, then you just let go of the breath and you mentally scream for them to get out of your space. You pull that energy out and shake it off. You pull that energy out with your fingertips, you shake it off. See, there's a little trick to that exercise. Because if you hold your breath until you get a picture or a thought of somebody, you will get a picture or a thought of somebody.